Hello again, friends. Chrissy here at A Little Glam, A Lot of Mom. Let's get to planning.
Shuffling Songs by Hillsong United on Amazon Music.
As my planner, I use a traveler's journal cover with 5 traveler's journal inserts in category business, Bible or devotional, calendar, homeschool, and home. Now, I'm not much of a artsy bullet journalist. I like this more for the functionality. It's a life planner. Everything is all in one. And some of my favorite supplies are fine point, different colored pens, a black marker, a pencil, and a good eraser. Also, highlighters are a must. I like the Mild Liner brand. The first page of my homeschool insert are just words and quotes and sayings that inspire me on my homeschool endeavor. For my next spread, I created a curriculum map, so kind of like our curriculum at a glance. I have a column for every subject and every child, and this is as artsy as it gets for me. But this map is helpful and sort of like checking the boxes, especially for my high schoolers. And so the next page is for logins and passwords and a homeschool related context. And of course, I've concealed that for OPSEC reasons. The next spread is for jotting down my ideas or a bucket list, if you will, for each season. The seasons of the year are a big part of our days and learning. Following that rhythm of nature and what's around us just flows and seems organic to us. So once I have very loosely planned out our seasons, I now can map out a daily rhythm. Again, following the seasonal rhythm is important for us because of the time outside is dependent of weather and sunrise and sundown, seasonal sports and small groups, holidays, activities, that sort of stuff. Our day begins with a morning loop where we loop things like which devotional we're working on for the day, journaling, maybe musical multiplication, read alouds, and if there's a learning guide to go with it, poetry. So from about 9 a.m. to noon is our 3-hour core block. And these are all independent studies for my teenagers. Language arts, which includes reading and handwriting, and math or geometry for the teenagers. So this gives me the opportunity to work with the younger 3. About an hour each little is all I need for core subjects, and about 20 minutes of circle time for my toddler. And so this also gives me time to clean up post breakfast, maybe make myself another cup of coffee, and the littles also get some morning playtime, and that's just how they like to get their day going. At about noon, we'll take a break for a quick lunch, walking the dog, go back to making beds if that didn't get done in the morning, and then we move on to our 3-hour loop block at 1 p.m. The loop block for my youngest guys means all the fun stuff like geography, history, science, all of which are done in a loop. So we make our way through these subjects throughout the week and we circle right back. So one of these subjects a day, again because of the loop schedule, takes about an hour more with my littles, and then that's it, they're off to play. They can stick around and do other educational things, pull them off of our shelves like board games and puzzles and books if they wish to. But at this time, then my teenagers have me for one-on-one time or attention for a good 2 hours. So my ninth graders and I, we do Knotgrass World History together, which is interwoven with a Bible study as well. Then they move on to Spanish 1 or Health as an elective, and that's on a loop. At this point, they usually don't need me, and that's a typical school day. Outside time is required for everyone at a very minimum of 2 hours. Finally, our evening routine like dinner, cleanup, and bedtime routines. And so I like to put the emphasis on that this is just a rhythm. This isn't a schedule. There is nothing rigid about this. We are a military family, so we have learned flexibility and learned to adjust. Every season is different, especially in motherhood, in homeschooling, and with big families. Given that any major life events or situations haven't happened, we keep this schedule more or less for 5 to 6 weeks. At that point, we like to take a week break to regroup and evaluate and make adjustments if needed. If not needed, then we'll continue the same schedule to end off the season for another 5 to 6 weeks. So I've found that I do need to get a bit more specific with my teenagers for them to stay on task, and it just helps them with time management. So I've split up their loops into A and B days. I copy the rhythm for them onto index cards, one for A day, one for B day, and we paperclip the cards into their student planners, and this way they can carry on A and B day from week to week. I plan our daily rhythms one season at a time, again, just allowing room for change. And of course, each season is different, and our breaks and rhythms look different with those seasons. I also like to keep a page for a list of supplies that we may need throughout the year and a list of enrichments and electives which are required for my ninth graders. I usually plan for 1 to 2 unit studies per season. One if we're working through a learning guide to go with our read aloud. I've been following this same layout for a few years when planning a unit study, and I made a video about this planning process a year, maybe two ago, and I'll be sure to link it for you. So, when planning and building a unit study, I make sure I write down the resources we already own, resources we need, a book list. This is also when I jot down any ideas I may have for the unit study, links to videos and websites, links to free printables, projects, and my to do list for the unit study. I used to hand write or hand draw my own calendar layout, but I found a blank calendar insert on Amazon and it saves me a lot of time. So I have my month at a glance to pencil in any doctor's appointments, small groups, birthdays, those sort of events. My week at a glance is for logging. Now I only log for what we do daily for Bella and Noah, and my teenagers are required and responsible for logging their day into their student planners. And within the same insert, each month has a notes page. So I use one side to log our books that we've read, and I also jot down which books I'd like to read and check them off if we do get to them. And the others note page is for my observations. So, observing is a vital tool to following the child and recognizing needs, strengths, and interests. For example, observing that a child has mastered a skill or concept so that we can introduce a new lesson. So before I end this video, I have two more notes. One is that this is an open collab with Abby at Rooted and Rest and Jessica with the Waldorf Way. This video is part of a huge playlist of other YouTube homeschool moms, so I'll link that playlist down below. And my last note is that this is what works for me, and I'm just sharing that. I am not saying that this is the best way or the right way. Please remember that every home is different, and I'm here to encourage you on your own journey.